In the vast universe, where the light of distant stars takes millions of years to reach our eyes, Earth is nothing more than a tiny speck drifting in infinite space. From the cosmic perspective, humanity's existence is like a fleeting spark, appearing for a brief moment before vanishing. If we were to compress the entire history of the universe into a single day, human civilization would emerge only in the last second before midnight. The achievements, ambitions, wars, love, and suffering that define our species occupy an incredibly small fraction of time, like a grain of sand in an endless desert. But does this smallness mean insignificance? If everything we do is destined to be forgotten, does individual life truly matter? We are born without choice, thrown into existence without an explanation. We strive to create meaning, to find purpose, yet ultimately, we all must face death and the inevitability of being forgotten. From an objective standpoint, everything we do, our struggles, dreams, and losses, has no effect on the grand workings of the universe. Galaxies will continue to spin, stars will continue to burn and fade, regardless of whether we exist or not. In the face of such immensity, we may feel insignificant to the point of irrelevance. Yet, this very finiteness raises a crucial question. Is meaning something we discover, or is it something we create? Perhaps what makes life valuable is not its duration, but the moments we truly live. If a piece of music played endlessly, it would lose its melody. If a flower never withered, we would never appreciate its beauty. And if we never had to confront our own limits, perhaps we would never grasp the value of each fleeting moment. Impermanence does not strip life of its meaning. It is what gives it meaning. If humanity exists only in the last second before midnight, then it is in this moment that we must make our existence shine the brightest. If the last second before midnight is where humanity exists, then before that was a timeline stretching billions of years in which humans had never been present. The universe was born from a great explosion, expanding infinitely, forming stars, galaxies, and eventually Earth, a tiny planet floating among countless other worlds. Throughout those 13.8 billion years, there was no one to question existence, no one to ponder its meaning, no one to gaze at the sky and wonder about their place in the vast cosmos. And then only recently, in the briefest flicker of history, humans emerged, carrying intelligence, awareness, and questions never before asked. But no matter how intelligent we may be, we are still just a small speck in this vast, unfolding timeline. If the history of the universe were compressed into a single day, humanity would appear only in the last second. And in that final second, each individual life is even more fleeting, a mere moment in the vast sequence of cosmic events. Not only did we arrive late, but we exist for an incredibly short period. Whether one lives for 100 years or 1,000, that time is insignificant compared to the billions of years the universe has endured. Earth, the home we cherish, where we have poured our efforts into building civilizations, where all human joys and sorrows are contained, from the perspective of the cosmos, is nothing more than a tiny dot, drifting in the infinite void. Carl Sagan, upon seeing the image of Earth from an unimaginable distance, remarked that every war, every belief, every civilization, every great and ordinary human being, all of it happened on a tiny speck of dust suspended in a sunbeam. A grain of dust in infinity. The mightiest empires, the grandest structures, the most profound ideas that humanity has ever created, in the grand scheme of the universe, are nothing more than fleeting traces unnoticed and forgotten. If everything we know, everything we hold dear, will eventually fade into the vast expanse of space and time, are we truly important? Does our existence hold any meaning, or are we merely a brief flicker of light burning brightly for a moment before vanishing without a trace? This very question marks the beginning of profound philosophical reflections on the meaning of life. If humans are merely a fleeting spark in the vast universe, if great civilizations, dreams, and wars all take place on a dust particle drifting through space, then does anything we do truly matter? In the past, humanity believed that life had a higher meaning, that a divine force, a cosmic order, or a sacred purpose guided our existence. We once clung to the idea that something greater than ourselves provided a reason for why we are here, a guarantee that our efforts, our suffering, and our joys were all part of a predetermined purpose. But then, science shattered that belief. When we realized that Earth is just a small planet among countless celestial bodies, when we found no evidence of any force that cares about our fate, we were confronted with a terrifying possibility. Perhaps the universe has no inherent meaning at all. This is the essence of nihilism, as Nietzsche described it. When traditional values collapse, when humans can no longer believe in eternal purposes, a vast emptiness emerges. If there is no ultimate goal to strive for, then do our efforts hold any significance? If everything will eventually be forgotten in the endless flow of the cosmos, is there any reason to continue striving, loving, creating, or fighting? These questions lead many to despair because they struggle to accept that life might have no meaning beyond itself. But Nietzsche did not see nihilism as an abyss into which humans must fall. He saw it as an opportunity to rise above. He did not claim that life is meaningless, but rather that there is no pre-existing meaning, and that it is up to humans to create value for themselves. When no divine force dictates who we are, when no fate is set in stone, we are completely free to define our own path. Nihilism is not a sentence of despair. It is an act of liberation. The absence of absolute meaning does not render life unworthy. On the contrary, precisely because there is no imposed purpose, we have the opportunity to live according to what we truly believe. This freedom is both a responsibility and a gift. When nothing is predetermined, we can choose anything to be the meaning of our lives. And perhaps that is what makes existence truly valuable. If Nietzsche saw nihilism as a challenge, forcing humans to create their own values, then Sartre offered a different perspective. If life has no inherent meaning, then we are entirely free to define it in our own way. According to Sartre, humans are not born with a predetermined purpose. There is no intrinsic essence that binds us from birth. Instead, it is our choices, actions, and thoughts that determine who we are. If there is no supreme goal imposed upon us by the universe, then each person must take full responsibility for their own existence and decide what meaning they wish to pursue. But this absolute freedom also comes with a heavy responsibility. We cannot escape ourselves, nor can we blame fate or any supernatural force. We cannot rely on traditional values or predefined rules to justify our actions, because we are the ones who create those values. Within this emptiness, where there is no universal rule to cling to, one might feel lost. But Albert Camus saw a different aspect of the absurd. If the universe has no meaning, then we do not need to search for it in a place where it never existed. Instead, we can accept the absurdity and continue living, continue acting, not because we expect a reward or an ultimate goal, but simply because we are here, existing. Camus compared life to the image of Sisyphus, the man condemned to push a boulder up a mountain only to have it roll back down, repeating this cycle endlessly. A repetitive, meaningless existence with no final destination. But rather than seeing this as a tragedy, Camus argued that we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Because in the very act of rolling the boulder, in accepting that there's no meaning beyond the act of living itself, humans can find true freedom. There is no need to wait for a higher purpose. No need to seek an external justification. Simply living, simply existing, simply defining meaning for oneself is enough. If humans could live forever, would we still cherish each moment of life? If time had no limits, would a meeting, a word spoken, or a fleeting moment of happiness still hold the same significance? Heidegger believed that it is precisely our awareness of death, our understanding of our own finiteness, that makes life valuable. We know that one day we will disappear, that all memories, all stories, everything we have ever experienced will be swept away in the vast flow of the universe. And because of this, every moment we are alive is not just a mere existence, but something to be treasured. If we had no limits, if time stretched infinitely, perhaps we would postpone everything, letting dreams fade, leaving words of love unspoken, and allowing important things to remain undone, forever waiting for a tomorrow that will never end. But because our tomorrows are not infinite, every day becomes precious. Just like a flower is beautiful because it will wither, or a piece of music is meaningful because it has a beginning and an end, life only truly holds significance when we know it does not last forever. This finiteness makes us appreciate even the smallest moments. A person in love knows they will not be together forever, but it is this brevity that makes every glance, every word and every moment spent together, something to remember. An artist knows they do not have eternity to create, and it is precisely the limited time that makes each piece of art significant. Finiteness is not a curse, but a gift, a reminder that because we do not have forever, we must live fully in every passing second. If humans could live indefinitely, would we still yearn to create, to love deeply? Or would we become stagnant, procrastinating, letting meaningful things slip away into the illusion of endless time? It is precisely because time waits for no one, because we know we will not be here forever, that we love more intensely, that we live more completely. A person who understands the limits of their time will not waste it on meaningless pursuits. Someone who truly acknowledges that they will die no longer fears it. Instead, they realize that death itself is the force that drives them to live a life worth remembering. And perhaps it is not eternity but finiteness that makes life truly special. If finiteness makes life special, then accepting impermanence is the way for humans to find peace amid the endless flow of time. In Buddhist philosophy, impermanence, anicca, is an undeniable truth. Everything changes, and nothing lasts forever. From the vast universe to the fleeting moments of daily life, from mighty civilizations to the smallest emotions within us, all things exist within the cycle of transformation. Human suffering does not stem from life being meaningless, but from our resistance to change, from our desperate attempts to hold on to things that cannot be grasped. But when we release our attachment to permanence, when we accept that everything has a beginning and an end, we no longer fear disappearance. We learn to live more lightly in each present moment. Stoicism offers a similar lesson. Marcus Aurelius once said that humans cannot control the universe, but we can control how we respond to it. What happens around us, the events, losses, and disappointments, is largely beyond our control. But what we can do is change our attitude, learn to accept reality without losing inner peace. Seneca reminds us to live each day as if it were our last, not out of fear or haste, but so that we do not waste what we have. When we know that everything can disappear at any moment, we stop delaying what truly matters. We no longer wait for some distant tomorrow to love, to forgive, to fully embrace life. Nothing is eternal, but it is this very impermanence that allows us to cherish each moment. If we endlessly seek immortality, we will never know how to fully live in the present. But when we stop resisting the passage of time, when we cease seeking absolute control, only then do we truly harmonize with life. Happiness does not come from clinging to things forever, but from learning to let go at the right moment. It comes from daring to accept that all things will eventually pass, and in that passing, we find our deepest sense of freedom. Perhaps the universe does not need our existence, but that does not mean we cannot find meaning within our own lives. If no eternal purpose has been predetermined, then it simply means that each person has the freedom to create their own meaning. We do not need validation from the cosmos, nor an absolute truth to confirm the value of our existence. If we can love, create, and perceive the world around us, that alone is reason enough to exist. We may be nothing in the vastness of space, but to one another, we can be everything. A glance, a hug, a sincere word can create something profound. And if there's anything that makes life truly worth living, perhaps it is the connection between fragile human beings in this impermanent world. Finiteness does not render life meaningless. It is what makes every moment precious. If we lived forever, perhaps we would never truly live. But because we know that time is limited, we learn to cherish each passing second, to love without hesitation, to create as if there were no tomorrow. Meaning is not found in striving for immortality, but in living fully in the present, embracing everything we can experience, feel, and give. Perhaps billions of years from now, the universe will continue on, indifferent to our brief existence. But right now, in this fleeting moment of time, we are here, breathing, feeling, loving. And perhaps that alone is enough. If this video made you think, like to share it, and subscribe to explore even deeper content. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.